Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Hey.
We're going to play some music while everybody come on in.
Who?
Charles, your lunch is ready. I only cook for you.
What is this?
Charles, your lunch is ready. They hating on you. Charles, your lunch is ready. Charles, your lunch is ready. Now I know I saw Yana in here.
I
She just
did too, but I was looking for her, but you distracted me. Because why would you do that? Play it again, B.
okay. Hold on. And I got the dessert too. I got the dessert. I know that's right, Miss Netta. This is for haters. Talk to him. What you gonna say? It's coming for me. Bag of Miss Netta. You don't want the tea. Okay, we go. Tired of you haters. And Miss Netta said she is tired of them haters. She not about to be playing with y'all today. Because Charles, your lunch is ready. Oh God. Ooh.
I was not expecting that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to. That song is platinum in this household. Charles. Woo. Okay, guys. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm not sure where Yana is. Okay, there she goes. I'm gonna play it till she come back on stage.
Be back. Turn it off.
Hey Yana, hey Shay, hey Dolores, hey Lo, how y'all doing this fine Tuesday?
Morning.
Sure.
Good evening, everyone.
Y'all took your naps. Y'all are energized for this week.
I
Student.
took it, but it did me no good. I'm tired.
I'm not fucking tired. Well, we had a beautiful week of basketball, an exciting one at that. So we're not gonna waste y'all's time. We're gonna get right into it because we know y'all gonna be tuning into some games. If you got Peacock, if you like me and you done created a fake email address and you got this that Peacock subscription or the sample, what you call it when you get a trial? That's the word, a trial. Gonna be watching that game coming up later is Wisconsin and the moving pivot foots and let's see,
The moving whom?
pivot foots.
Stop.
So, so we got our rankings this week.
We do. We do.
Somebody go and share that to the Summer Jam scheme for me, please. You
One
know,
moment.
I don't want to press too many buttons. I don't need my phone to be acting like a droid again this week.
I'll try. Hold on, I got you.
Relax, sir. Relax.
I am fully charged. It's at 73%. That should last us an hour. And there is only one. I know. You know what? We can go ahead and start with the rankings because I know there's only one undefeated team left in the country in men and women's Division One
Pew, 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 pew,
basketball.
pew, 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 pew.
It is the Fighting Staleys, the Fighting VP visits, the Fighting Laughs and Claps. We did it, Joe. All those good things that South Carolina Gamecocks. And our rankings, starting on number one, we have South Carolina. Two, the committee, and this is the committee, our committee, not that committee with Charlie Sheen. Not Charlie Sheen, Charlie Cream, sorry. We go to Colorado, UCLA, Iowa, Yukon, Southern Cal, North Carolina State, Stanford, Kansas State, LSU, Florida State, Texas, Virginia Tech, Ohio State, Louisville, Baylor, Notre Dame, Indiana, Gonzaga, Utah, Creighton, Marquette, UNC, Iowa State, and Oregon State. Now, who's the shock out of the votes that we've put together this week? Who is the shock that you thought should have been a little higher, and maybe probably should have been a little lower, or a team that's not ranked that you thought should have been included that had a really impressive week?
Y'all were generous as hell to Baylor.
Who put them up that high? Because I put them down. I
I
think
don't know.
Probably it wasn't me.
Probably Rob.
because I think I had them at 24.
I think it was Greg and Rob. Greg and Rob.
Yeah, Baylor. I know you said I had a voodoo doll or something. You said, but I really didn't. I really didn't. It just was obvious. Like I said, I'm not depending on. You already know. I'm not doing it. Mm-mm. Baylor. I feel bad for him though, but sorry.
I,
Go ahead.
yeah. I do wish we gave Gonzaga a little bit more love. I feel like we just like because they're mid major, we keep them between 17 and 20. And I feel like the girls are a top 16 team at this moment.
I think for me, when I do my rankings, I do it kind of comparatively, and it really might. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like sometimes it switches between week to week, like because now it's not as it's the undefeated teams, no more. It's kind of like, do I like they it's like, is it a power ranking like this week, or is it now? Do I really think that this team is better than this team for real, or they just, you know what I mean? So I think it's just hard for me to stay consistent and pick like I'm gonna do it this way this week, this way this week. It always switches for me. And then Gonzaga is always like, but do I really think that this Gonzaga team can fuck with these? Excuse me, can beat these teams? If not, I don't know. And that's what always keep them in a probably a lower little range for me specifically. I don't know about nobody else.
And speaking of the top 16, like you mentioned, Dolores, for those positions, it's important, especially, I guess, around middle February, because those are the teams that have the opportunity to actually host the first two rounds. So, who do you think? I don't think we've had any mid majors, really, like true mid majors, not including the Big East. I don't think we've had really excuse me, any true mid majors be a hosting team. So, do you think that Gonzaga can be one of those to finally host, maybe?
I don't think this season the only way I see that happening is had they beaten Stanford earlier in the year. I think that would have kind of locked them in because I feel like they should be able to run away with their conference. They've got great players, but I don't think strength of schedule necessarily is completely in their favor. And I don't think they'll be able to make up ground on some P5 teams once it gets to conference tournament because if they lose a game or don't win it comfortably, the committee's going to look at like a high net team that maybe gets an upset and probably put them in. I'm sorry, they did beat Stanford. That's my bad, y'all. They did beat Stanford, but I don't think any of their resume outside of that win um puts them in there. I feel like they would have needed three, three really good wins, in order to get it. Because let's like comparatively. So in the SEC right now, South Carolina and Auburn are the only two teams with two top 25 net wins. LSU is definitely going to be a top 16 seed. That automatically starts to push up against Gonzaga because even though their net isn't that high, you look at eye test, you look at who they have, they're probably still going to get the benefit of the doubt in terms of rating top 16. So I don't think they will move in this year, but if they do, I would be really excited for them.
So now, on the other hand, which top team currently is in jeopardy of potentially not hosting? If like they continue to trend downward,
And
maybe,
our
or they get caught
Baylor.
slipping.
Baylor, yeah.
Yeah, Baylor. I think Ohio State kind of they're in and out of it. Like if they can continue to rack up good wins, then they're solid. But if they kind of go back on a slump again, then I can see them slowly getting out of it. Florida State, they've been very up and down too. They've had a really good week, and so that kind of jumped them back in our top 16. But they could also have a really bad week too. They're just a very up and down team. So,
Yeah,
but then it's
Louisville.
really about the teams behind them too. That like, what are the teams behind them doing? If are they doing what they need to do to possibly snatch a top seed, or are they also fucking up on their side?
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So we're going to going to go into our a part that I know Dolores is excited to speak about. Iowa State. Go ahead, Dolores. Run away. Do your thing.
WBB for the win, ladies. D- The wide backs are backing, baby. Welcome. The wide backs is back. Okay? Don't play with my kids. So, like, five true freshmen, not sat a year, not came, five true freshmen are leading a team that was without their starting point guard for the majority of the non-conference, and they just got two major ranked wins against teams after being down by double digits. When is the last time we've heard of a team with that many freshmen do anything like that? Like, I am just so impressed with what Iowa State is doing this year in conference. I think Bill Finley is one of my leading candidates for National Coach of the Year, because they are currently undefeated in the Big 12. And going into the season, it looked like Texas and Baylor would run away with it. TCU now has injury. Texas now has injury. Baylor looks flawed. And outside of Kansas State, it's Iowa State that is the top team in the conference. But I'm just so impressed with the fearlessness of those freshmen. Audie played up against fifth year seniors and juniors and sophomores, and seniors in order to lead her team to a win against Baylor. Um, and they did it in a way that we haven't seen Iowa State play in a long time. Like, for so many years, it was this: if they didn't make a lot of threes, they would not win the game. And now they've got a wide back big that they can throw the ball to, and she is going to get them an easy bucket, and they know how to get it to her. And in this day and age in college basketball, as a true freshman to be able to do what she's doing, no shade, no tea, don't come for me. I believe that she's the first freshman we've seen play like that for a team like that with so many freshmen since South Carolina when Aaliyah Boston came in the door. And statistically, her numbers are better. Shout out to my kids.
Audie Crooks got a torch name and she got the game to go with it. Shorty goes through your chest. She not going around you. She not going over top. She going through your shit, and you better be ready. But nah, I think Bill. I think that this is a testament to Bill too, because I think he's made a step coaching wise that I think we were a little let down previous years, but I think he's made some improvements, which is important for coaches to know that they got to work on their shit too.
Like, I mean, you lost what? Stephanie. Well, Stephanie was gone a lot of last year, but you lost Stephanie. You lost Lexi. You lost Ashley Jones. Did you lose
But
both sisters?
sometimes, y'all listen, and this is not to be being shady because I know how sometimes the girls get. Sometimes losing elevates you. Losing some people can
That's
elevate
true.
you.
Oh,
Maybe
well, shut up and shoot me, Laura.
I, I
Come on, William Murphy. Come on, Pastor.
trying to talk to y'all Jackie every time, man.
Hold on. Alexa, play Swag Surf.
Uh,
Swag surfing and similar songs
Go
are
ahead,
available
Lo.
on
Preach
YouTube.
for us right quick.
No. Sometimes I have an Ashley Jones who is just I'm not playing though. I'm not. We have an Ashley Jones who is my quote unquote everything. Everything runs to her. She's expected to do this. She's expected to do this. Sometimes when you lose that, you elevate. Like sometimes that almost helps. It's like coaches now, I gotta kind of get in my bag and I gotta kind of shuffle things around and see what happens. Maybe I needed that personality off my team. Maybe I needed that monkey off my back so everybody could chill, everybody can relax again.
No,
Sometimes
hold up.
it's more. Like maybe I needed the proverbial. I ain't calling nobody monkey. That proverbial monkey off my back. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I needed a breath of fresh air. I needed you to get out so I can work on what's here. I can build this back up again and I can do what we got to do. And I feel like some coaches across the league could see that too next year. I'm not gonna say no names, but we'll see.
I mean,
And I think,
that's a message for life. No shade, no tea.
and that's scary for the rest of the Big 12. If you think about it, five freshmen doing that, like if they stay together, like that could be some damage. Not just for the Big 12, nationally too.
Yeah, I tweeted. I think that this team makes a Final Four if all five of those freshmen stay, because Bill has cornered the market on keeping the kids that Lisa Bluter chooses not to go after. And they want to stay and play for him. Like he's gotten a lot of good top, and honestly, Baby Jones looks really good in that program too.
Hmm.
But to Lowe's point, another player that they lost that I thought would be a huge loss for them was Danae Fritz. She ended up going to Baylor, and she really isn't getting playing time. But it looks like they found a team that really enjoys playing with each other. The chemistry is there, the vibe is there,
Hmm.
and the ego is not there. They don't mind if Audie Crooks goes off. They don't mind if Addie Brown goes off. They had another game where their leading freshman guard, she found her shot, she went off. But then they've also got their, Emily Ryan on the team. They've got the Stu. Lord, I'm gonna tear that child name up. Y'all know who I'm talking about though. My good sis with the energy and the nice natural hair and the beautiful skin.
Hmm.
Um, she's also there, and it very much seems like it's a welcoming environment. Those
Hmm.
freshmen can make mistakes without getting pulled out of the game. It's a like I think they're a really dope team to watch given what they lost and some of the criticisms we've had about the program and the coach on when they had Big Jones. So I'm just excited to see them kind of thriving right now.
Are there any more Joneses left?
There's one at Oklahoma. Baby sister's there. Now, if there's another one after that, that man got some master sperm. Um,
Can you please, just for once?
but those are the only
I
two I
want
know
to see
about.
them versus the Mayberries.
Oh God, they would get cooked, but it would be beautiful gowns.
Okay, so we're gonna move on from Iowa State and go into the fighting Genos. They're clawing their way back up to the top, up through the top 10. They've had some really strong performances, and I think it was Lowe who recently said she sees them as a top four team. Am I correct?
That was not me.
That was Dolores.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Dolores. Okay, so go ahead and tell us, why do you see Yukon as a top four team?
It's really hard to beat a team with Paige Beckers on it. And the same way that we see Iowa and we're like, oh, that people should be able to get him. It's just Paige. But the difference with UConn and a lot of other teams that are led by one player is that the complementary pieces all can get theirs without her. This season we're finally starting to move into a direction where they're learning how to play with her and with each other. And so with all of that being said, and with Gino being the coach, they might not be national championship top four caliber, but they are Final Four, Elite Eight caliber UConn.
I,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Paige is hooping. Aaliyah Edwards, she's not as good as she was in terms of being consistent every night and being dominant. But I still think she's good and plays well in the low post. And it takes a really elite big or group of bigs to stop her. Um, and I just think they've got great complementary pieces. UConn is always going to shoot the three ball well. And this season they're defending better than I think they've defended in a few years. So I think that just kind of keeps them in the pack, with Paige being what pushes them over the edge against other teams.
I agree, but I keep saying that loss of Aubrey is big for me with them. Just because, like I said, her athleticism, the versatility that she provides. I granted, I still think they'll be good, right? But I just think having an Aubrey really that's a key loss for me with them. And then your other players are freshmen, and of course they can hoop, but that's just a whole different thing. So losing Aubrey is just really big for me. Like I think with her, we could be talking about serious Final Four game, like championship game. I think they could have figured that out, honestly. But without her, I'm just like, oh, that's a big blow. But I still think they're solid, like Dolores is saying.
Yeah, say.
For me, I'm happy that they South Carolina and UConn schedule each other during the towards the end of the season. Because I think it allows you to see where both teams are, and UConn is one of those teams that I kind of want to see where they are in February, because like it's really hard to get a gauge on their team in the Big East right now, because the Big East isn't super strong, even though like you look at Creighton and Marquette, and yeah, they're ranked, but I still think those are teams that UConn should be comfortably, regardless of whether they're ranked or not. So seeing, and then they have like Notre Dame on their schedule, but with injuries and stuff like that, Notre Dame isn't really the team that's gonna like make them work. So I'm excited to see them versus South Carolina in particular, just to see what they can do come March, because I think that's the game where we'll really see if they all are playing well with Paige. Because I think it's easy to do it versus a lot of the Big East teams for Paige to get her rocks off and everybody else to do their thing. But early in the season, it was also like that until they played the big games. Then it was everyone else kind of like shrunk a little bit. So I think I want to see where they are when they play South Carolina.
I agree, Rihanna. Creighton and the Marquettes and the DePauls and stuff like that, those are not teams that UConn struggles with. It's when it's dogs on the floor, who gonna bark? So I need to see the South Carolina matchup.
They also have Notre Dame coming up.
I need to see the South
It's fully
Carolina matchup.
healthy. Yeah. It's fully healthy. I would have been like, yeah, Notre Dame. But yeah, South Carolina is the one that I want to see.
I think even with this South Carolina matchup, I'm not gonna necessarily be looking at a win or loss. I'm gonna be looking at pattern and like what they can do in the tournament. Because
Same.
as we know, South Carolina may not be with Camila Cardoso, and while I know that that's gonna be a huge loss, I also know there'll be an opportunity for both teams to see where they measure up outside of that type of dominant or potentially dominant player. I'm excited to see what the others do. Like, is Aaliyah the National Player of the Year candidate that UConn thought she was years ago? Is are the freshmen ready to play against guards that are quicker and bigger and more athletic than them? I think UConn in their conference is so used to being the most athletic, the best shooter, the best at everything. But when you
Hmm.
run up against in South Carolina, it's gonna be my best versus your best. And so they won't win every position battle like they can in their conference. And I think the last biggest thing is that Gino has been playing Paige at the four. And I think that's going to be a big whose X's and O's wins because does Chloe Kitts guard Paige or do we see Breezy Hall guard Paige? And then with that, does Ashlyn join the starting lineup to guard Aaliyah? Or do we see some shuffling and maybe Sanaya or Sakima? So I'm
Okay, so here
excited for the match.
I have a question because I know it's out in regards to Camilla and Brazil, but Canada's also playing on that same day. Is Aaliyah expected
Aaliyah's
to
not
be?
going.
Yeah,
She
Gina not
hasn't.
having that.
She went. I think her freshman year was the one year she left to go play with Canada, and her season like just tanked afterwards. And so ever since then, it's kind of been like a nah. You keep your ass here. They'll be all right.
They'll wait for you to summer. Okay, okay. So, well, speaking of that matchup that a lot of us are waiting to see, we move on to South Carolina, who I think, Camilla. Maybe it's time. In just 20 minutes, Camilla was able to put together a game of 12 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 5 blocks. Made it look very easy. She pulled out some moves out the footwork category. She was aggressive. What do you all think that you? What do you like that you saw from her and South Carolina in their game against Kentucky?
Finally!
I think the two players that needed to be aggressive were like honest and truly, you know what you're gonna get from Pow Pow. Breezy is a steady presence on both sides of the ball. And then, Chloe's gonna be Chloe. But I think an aggressive Camilla and an aggressive Raven changes South
Mhm.
Carolina completely. Like when both of them are aggressive on both sides of the ball, that's a completely different team.
One moment, I have a song for you all. Since today is a Semarnic Selection Sunday.
I can hear that. It's playing.
It's coming.
Oh,
He's,
okay. Jinkies.
I'm sitting here clutching my pearls, wondering what it is.
At last, my love has come along.
Please.
My lonely days are
Dolores,
over.
back your ass up.
And life is on. Fucking showed the hell up, y'all. This what we've been cussing about. This what we've been tweeting about. Camilla put the wig down, and the potential was bursting through the motherfucking leave out, the seams, every part of it. That's what we want. That's what we wanted.
And don't
Okay.
lie and don't piss in my face and tell me it's raining and sit here and tell me that you can't see a complete different
Oh
end.
God, it was a whole person of
It was
difference.
a whole complete different end, and that's all we're asking. That look engaged. You being cause keep it real, right? South Carolina we would have beat Kentucky anyway, right? Right. But we
Right.
also know how South Carolina gets, and they play dead, and they go on these lulls. Everybody's not locked in. Yes, they might have still won by 30 because they're just a better team, but it could have been really really ugly. So the fact that all of them locked in, showed up with energy when Camilla made that first move, I was like, oh shit, who is that? That's what I want from her. That changes the whole complexion of the game when she is that aggressive. She has some moves. The when she ran and jumped to get the rebound, missed and got it back and put it back up. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. That's what we need from Camilla every time. Like she was locked in, and that makes all the difference. Like that's all we're asking for.
And the team played like what was really inspiring was it felt like the team was motivated for and by her. Like
Yep.
if you go rewatch the game tape, in the third quarter or later in the game, you can hear the bench saying take her one on one. Like that, like the way the team is encouraging her to continue to build those good habits of playing dominant, being aggressive, going looking to score, not being so passive. Like it just looked like a complete team. And if that is a glimpse of what we can get when they're playing their best, regardless of the competition, because I remember we said earlier, like, so I feel like South Carolina knows how to get up. Like, they're not, Quentin tweeted about it recently. Like, Don's teams have not laid an egg against nobody probably in like 3, 4 years. Like, even if they lose the game, it's not because they got beat by 35. Like, they gonna lose by 2, 3, right? This is a game where in previous years they might show up and win by 15, but it don't get to 15 until the fourth quarter.
Bingo.
When the way Camilla came out, Raven too, came out aggressive, looking to attack, looking for each other, looking for their teammates, was beautiful,
It was.
like gorgeous. And I like for me, if she can build on that, that's all I want for the season. Like I won't cuss, I won't say shit. Do that. Cause she missed some shots. Like she missed some layups that she was frustrated about. But it's not about what missing it. It's about the way you attack the shot. And I felt
Bingo.
like she was attacking every single time she was in the low post. And if she can do that regardless of who's on the other end, this team looks like the number one team in the country by
Bingo.
far.
That's it. Effort.
And for
Effort.
me, there are so many impressive things about the game, right? Like South Carolina is known for funny now, but known for shooting threes. They can knock them down. The stat that showed South Carolina was 179th in the nation last year, and
The
now is
first.
one. That is insane. Like credit to Pow Pow, obviously, but I think you have to acknowledge the work that Breezy and Raven also put in this offseason to even like lift those numbers up. And then for them to score 98 points and no one on the team took more than 9 shots. No one. There was no one on the team that took more than 9 shots. And they had they had 6 people in double figures. It like just all around good game, team effort. And when they're all playing together and sharing the ball the way they were sharing it, that's a tough team to beat.
And let me say this. Tessa coming along like she has girlies,
Mm-hmm.
y'all better watch the hell out. Because that Tessa coming, that's a cheat code. Like Tessa coming along like she has, yeah. Cheat code.
A
I
big
just
body
love
shooter.
that we finally have players on the team that fit different aesthetics. Like South Carolina back in 2014, everybody looked like they came from South Carolina or somewhere in adjacent to South Carolina. Now we got Midwest girlies, we got Florida girlies. Like it's very diverse. It's cute. I like that. Tessa, I like Tessa. I like her. We used to have
And
girls with that type of hair texture. That was I like her.
Oh, brother.
What part of South Carolina, Dolores?
Gaston,
Oh, don't do that.
Sumter, Charleston.
Allendale.
Abbeville,
Don't.
Ooh, Orangeburg County. Ooh.
Orangeburg County, Horry County.
I was cracking up though at people upset that Dawn, pulled them back and it was like, nah, get out 2 points. This is justice for 2022. You feel stealing out. I think it was Rob or somebody who said for taking out tourney title from us. Like, do you like when coaches like, call them out, call the dogs off, or do you want them to go and run the score up?
I
Um,
respect it. I also booed it, but that was just
we
that
did.
was me being me. But I respect why she did it, and I get it. I'm fine with it. Uh, game was already won.
She
It's
was looking out
whatever.
for her sister. I feel
Y'all know Don gonna always be uber pro black women and not try to, embarrass them in situations like this. So I knew what time it was. The doors ready to close on Kyra. Don just didn't want to slam it shut. That's what it gave.
Why you had to
That-
word it like that? I'm
Right.
sorry.
Kyra better go and beat LSU.
That's baby. The door. Kyra was ushering the child to the door in the third quarter. She was like, "All right, I'm gonna leave it guided. I ain't gonna let you just lock it behind your child." Yikes!
Go and log out for me,
Also,
baby.
one last thing about South Carolina is I know everyone talks about how impressive their offense has been this season, and it has been. And I think their jump offensively has been so impressive that people haven't really realized that their defense is better this year. Like statistically, their defense is better than it was last year, which is insane. I think they probably rebound a little less than last year's team, but defensively, they're better. Steals, blocks, like it's yeah. So as a whole, a brand new team basically, they're just better.
If Ashlyn Watkins don't win six woman or defense player, I don't care which one. Just pick one. I'm a
Both.
riot by midnight.
I,
That Ashlyn averages right at about 20 minutes per game, and she's averaging a double double coming off the bench. That is unheard of.
Yeah, she be hooping.
And is like top. I think she's top 10 in the country in blocks. Like she does everything so well, but like very unassuming. I absolutely love. Like I would put an Ashton Watkins on my team, and I don't even need nobody. Like when we talk about these teams that don't have no bigs on their team, you don't even got to get a WBB. Sometimes you can get a SBB, a slim big back. Like
What?
actually,
so who's your top three slim big backs?
this is number one.
Asia.
Asia. Um, I feel like Cody could be a slim big back.
Who?
Cody at Ohio State. If she was
She
used
gotta
in the
put me
right
on.
way.
And she not
Um,
now.
like there's a few. Angel is kind of a slim big. That girl, them shoulders get real broad when she rebounded. Um, there's some good ones.
No, wait, now who? Asia who?
I'm
Wilson.
thinking about Miss Wilson.
Oh, so yeah, okay, that's what I thought, but I was like, oh, wait, is there another Asia in college? Gotcha. Okay,
No. Yep. So we can do some slim big backs because Ashlyn takes the cake.
okay. We love a good slim big back. Love a good wide back. Who's a good
I
petite big?
shout out
Who's a
Sanaya.
petite big back?
Wait, I gotta show Sanaya some love because y'all know that's my girl, and I've been Sanaya, and I probably be getting on all y'all nerves, and I don't care. Sanaya is really coming into her own. What did she say in that clip the other day about she liked the D or something like that?
You know, Coach
Yes.
loves the D.
D.
She said, wait.
She
We get it,
got
girl. We get it.
she had y'all know I've been waiting on her. Her post moves are really good. She's finally getting a defensive piece all together. I could tell she's working. I can hear her grunting out there to know she's putting in the work, and she looks really, really good. And her
Hey,
yes,
Yes,
and her
and
answers.
she just makes them better.
Yeah,
Like I love the like I know some people really really have started having the conversation about Ashlyn starting, but honestly, I love when Ashlyn
honestly,
and Sanaya come off the bench together. Like I love those two together. They're like terrors, and they're like and they're so good, and like now that Ashlyn's like not Ashlyn but Sanaya's like really really bought in on the defensive side, you see her stepping out on the perimeter and defending really well. Like she switch on guards and she keep guards in front of her, or she'll get a block, or she'll lead them to the defender where Ashlyn comes out of nowhere and block their shot. Like I really like them together, and then I really like the Camilla Chloe connection too. Like it really works. So I'm really happy to see Sanaya doing what she's doing now, and I'm just hoping that it just starts stacking up game by game by game, and you know we get to see all of Sanaya.
the bigs have been passing their ass off too. Like they have some nice high-low action going on. And I love that. Who who do you feel is next to make that jump?
For what team or just in
On South Carolina's roster.
Yeah.
they
Um,
all jumping hell.
yeah.
They are.
uh Tessa.
Tessa, no. Tessa jumping, baby.
I would
Yeah,
I
like
would I
like
would
I
say
can see.
uber critical lay, and that's again uber critical because I think where she is right now is where I'd ideally expect her to be. But if once Lay stop turning the ball over, what can you do with the team?
It's very true. So now we're going to get into some good old upsets of the week. We had quite a few. And first up on the docket, the game I think of probably the weekend. Well, one of the games of the weekend: LSU versus I'm about to say ISO. LSU versus Auburn. I
That's
That would have
what
been
it is.
appropriate.
I
That's
was
I
like,
what it
well,
mean
shit,
was.
that would have worked too.
it was, you're right. LSU versus Auburn. What were some of your favorite takeaways from that game? And yes, we are going to include the Angel ISO.
Uh, Honesty, Scott-Grayson.
Yes.
He was phenomenal. I just felt like every time Auburn needed something, like whether it was a crucial rebound or a clutch bucket, a steal layup, it's just something. Anytime they needed something, she was the one to do it. Anytime it felt like LSU was gonna have that moment, because throughout the game I just kept saying, "Oh, LSU is gonna pull away at some point," and every time I thought they were about to start pulling away, she'd do something, and it was like, "Oh, never mind. I guess we still in this thing." So her game, she was spectacular.
Between her and
She
Jemiah
had
Bingo
me.
Young, I think that they were some really awesome leaders for that game. They were poised for the majority of the game, and I think that rubbed off on the rest of their team.
Auburn always plays with that kind of chip on their shoulder energy, though, regardless of what game they enter into. They normally don't hit shots at that clip, though. Them mofos was shooting. I
Yeah.
I've ever seen Auburn shoot that well, but they was dialed in, and and LSU also plays with that kind of fire. You know what I'm saying? Auburn, because they like it too. They wasn't scared of that. They do that every day, so they wasn't phased. They like, oh, we know what you're doing. We that too, and they met fire with fire, and I think that also helped Auburn pull off the upset.
And there was a comment that Shamingo made in the presser when they asked her about, like the talking on the court and stuff like that. And she was like, we know LSU's, they're going to talk. They're a team that likes to talk and get in people's head. And so for us, we kind of just had to like just know that going into the game and don't respond to it, but just, focus on what's what on the court
They're back
instead of getting.
for it blowing kisses.
Well, honestly, Scott Grayson was like, fuck all that. I
Yeah.
definitely was getting into it with the players, but like staying calm and like just throughout the entire game was really, really good for them. And I love the fans. The fans were amazing. LSU fans traveled. And for a while, they were kind of drowning out Auburn's fans a little bit. But as the game went on, you could tell that Auburn fans were starting to feel it and they
After
started drowning
halftime.
out LSU fans. And I was like, oh, okay, we got ourselves a game now because the fans are like in it now. They're into it. And so shout out to their fans and hopefully their fans continue to support them.
I think there's a secret SEC group chat going where all the guards is like, we gonna take turns with HB Hell and we gonna put her in hell. Cause it is mind blowing to me that she get that rock and everybody be like, oh no, clear this shit out. I got her. I got this one. Don't worry about that. Like that shit is crazy to me. But not like LSU shot like 60 something percent from the free throw line and they didn't make a three. You not winning no road games with them numbers. Like I don't know. You're not beating nobody in the SEC like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the ISO.
I didn't like it.
What would you have called?
Me personally, would have put the ball in Michaela's hands. And even if she had missed, I'm banking on Angel fucking Reese to get the rebound. Period. Like the girl, they could not do nothing with Angel. Now, granted, she was missing her free throws and stuff like that. So I guess you kind of, I mean, you think about that, but I'm gonna if they shoot the ball because you're saying they can't get the ball in. I know that Angel or Anissa is going to get the rebound and just put it back up. It was working all game, so I'm not sure why don't you trust Angel's superpower. To me, like I always say, Angel's superpower is rebounding. Why if Michaela missed, she missed. Angel gonna get it. That's what I would have went with, but because that ISO was never gonna work.
I just y'all practice that? Like y'all sat in a practice and was like, yeah, we gonna 1-4 low and we gonna have Angel. The whole gym is watching. They know who got the ball in their hands. And Angel gonna dribble from the top of the key down and
Yeah.
score a bucket. That's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. And with Kim, I'm like, all right, even if that's what you calling, which I disagree with, when she started dribbling like she was going through a cone drill, you should have called a timeout. Cause that shit looked bad from it. It was not gonna work. And
Yeah.
somebody was posting a clip that was like, "Oh well, Angel dribbles down the court all the time in transition. A transition bucket when nobody's set on defense is way different than the whole gym staring at you and you like, all right, let me do my behind the back and then my spin move and then oh shit, the defense is there. Oh damn. All right, well, bucket.
Yeah. I didn't like that. And I don't feel like my teacher term is always you set your students up for success. I don't feel like Kim set her up for success. Like Kim, I understand nothing was working, this, that, and the third, but I just don't think she set Angel up for success. And I feel like that is overshadowing her making that move. It's overshadowing the fact that Angel's the only motherfucker that showed up in the game. Angel put them girls on her back. And I don't think Kim set her up for success. And I just didn't like that. And Kim, like, if I like her as a woman or not, because I don't. To me, she's always been a pretty good coach, a very good coach. So that was just really questionable. A lot of her things have been questionable lately, but that was just really questionable for her, for me. I didn't like it at all.
I'm trying to think like for everybody on stage, who I can't even think of but what one or two WNBA players where I would be like at the 4 or 5 position and I'd be like, yeah, girl, run that shit from the top. One
Exactly.
for low. Like I can't even how many WNBA players would you even call that shit for?
Yeah, I just it's
And it was crowded in the paint. And like we all know she ain't finna just stop and pull up for no jump shot. She's going straight to the rim. And they knew that. And it was crowded as
I think
hell in the paint.
I think that's what made the play a joke to me is that if Angel was a player that was a threat for stopping and pulling versus taking it to the rack, that play makes perfect sense to an extent. But all of them knew she was not going to pull up for no jump shot. And all of them knew she was only going right.
So what you're saying is that
And they
they
knew
were
she
in
wasn't about to
pause.
pass it.
None of like her handles have never given it's on a string.
yeah, that's never been in her bag.
So I like she and to Lowe's, I think Lowe's said a few days ago, Angel was damn near unstoppable that game.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
Unfuckwithable. But putting Angel in a position to succeed means either getting it to her in the low post so she can face up, or letting Michaela take a shot and getting Angel in good position to rebound.
Bingo.
And honestly, if they really wanted Angel to like have some type of drive to the basket, I would have much rather them give her the ball at the top of the key at the free throw line so
Mm-hmm.
she can just rip through maybe one dribble and go straight to the rim. Not cone drills behind the back, spin move type. Like it was too much. And what really blew my mind was there was 20 seconds left on the clock
She
for
dribbled
them
him
to
out.
figure some shit
Dribbled that
out.
shit out like
She
fucking
dribbled
Like,
him
Jerry.
call
out.
a timeout and drop a play. You mean to tell me you like I know a lot of stuff wasn't working throughout the entire game, but you mean to tell me you can't drop one play that looks decent than dribbling the clock down
Cause
from 20?
I done seen Camilla not work the whole game, and then she get that ball in the fourth quarter and put that shit in the basket. So something like,
Duke.
yep,
Shit,
don't.
that and when HBL threw that ball off that damn back. I'm sorry, I kept watching Kim reaction. Get her ass, get her.
That's what she
Is
said.
that when she ran to the bench,
Yeah,
like with her
she.
eyes agape and like she was baby girl was tired?
It
Oh
was
my
not even the
god.
fact of that, but Angel had like three people around her. So who were you gonna throw it to?
She says she over there somewhere. She gonna get it.
Here, damn.
Just throw it up there. She gonna get it somehow.
That poor baby.
Well, moving on from LSU and Auburn, congrats to Auburn and Mingo Young. She her little roll on the ground after she stole that ball. That sealed it for me. So shouts out to them. Going to go into the crosstown showdown, the battle versus LA. Spencer, I don't remember his last name. Never mind. So UCLA,
Not all American.
yeah, them. UCLA versus USC, part two. Dos. It's it was a great game. Shout out to all the stars that came out. Shout out to everybody. I had fun. Like Juju really did her thing against UCLA. I know they were mentioning that somebody was battling a stomach bug or something, but USC was also without one of their best players as well, and the series is even. So, what do y'all think about that game, and how did it make you in the parts feel?
Juju, bitch. In LA, hands down. I don't, and for all your Yana, I was on you because you was like, well, why did they drop UCLA to AP people? That because they lost it. No, 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 no. We didn't have Rhea, and y'all best player was not cooking. You getting dropped. So sorry, sisters. Try again in the Pac-12 tournament.
It was a really dope game. It just USC did their thing. They just kept going, kept going. UCLA just didn't. They just seemed ill prepared to me. I'm not sure what happened or where the ball was dropped, but UCLA just seemed like, yeah. I don't know what. I don't know what that was. Very ill prepared.
Shay, I stand by what I said. I would have kept them at two because quiet as kept. Y'all didn't have Ray in the first game either.
What? Yeah,
Oh,
Not she
it's
oh.
fighting words.
disappeared.
It's
So we
fighting
didn't have
words.
Rhea, and Bet still wasn't cooking. Damn. So which one is it? Oh,
Oh,
London was the cook on the first game.
The girls are
Was the
fighting.
cook in the second. So how many people in the kitchen, right, Yana? I'm trying to understand.
I'm just saying, I would have kept
Oh,
it the same. I didn't move
ooh.
them. I kept them at two.
I think they're good, but they have a very big problem at the wing spot. They can't guard nobody. They don't have no athletes on the wing.
well, what the lady said last time, the black people
But I do hope that this was a more well-rounded USC effort, and I hope that Lindsay realizes that Shorty, who backs up Rhea, should be playing like 15 minutes a night. She was doing her job,
the blonde
rebounding, boxing.
braids.
Yes, rebounding,
Yes,
boxing out, guarding Lauren
yes,
Betts. Like she needs to be on the floor.
she does.
So
Shay, you're absolutely right.
I just hope that Lindsay realizes that it can be other players that play and contribute.
Yeah, I said the same thing when I was watching. I was like, "Who is that?" She was working down there. She was boxing out. Them arms long, she long. I like her. She need more minutes. You are absolutely right. I will write a letter in the morning to Lindsay.
Dear
Not alert.
Mr. Royal Hampton. So moving on from LA, we going to Kansas State. We're going to go to Big 12 country versus Texas. Obviously, we know that the Longhorns are without their star player, their best player, their player of the year candidate in Rory due to injury for the rest of the season. So, what is their ceiling without her, and and how do we think they'll be able to compete in the tournament as well as in the conference tournament?
In a good draw, Sweet 16. In a hell draw, first round.
Yeah, I think they're athletic enough to get through maybe the Big 12 a little because Madison Booker, she's athletic. They got some athletes, but without a point guard, I don't. Mm-mm, no.
I I'm more disappointed at the lack of development in the post with that program. Like, we all know Vic is known for a small point guard and a big center and a big four. And he has that
Sorry.
in Texas. Um Taylor Jones, I think is her last name, just got back from injury. They got Gaston back, but she looked like she injured herself in the end of the Kansas State game. We all know Aaliyah Moore is getting back healthy after a season injury last year, but even in games against teams other than Kansas State, I feel like their bigs haven't shown up enough. But against Miss Yoka, Yoka, wide back big of the bigs, they couldn't do not nothing with her. And for a team that on paper still had more talent and depth than Kansas State, they really laid an egg in that game. So I don't see the vision because Madison Booker is their best scorer, their best point, their best, she's their best everything right now. And if can't nobody pass her the ball, and she got to pass everybody else the ball, that's not gonna work.
That's why I had them.
Yeah,
So go ahead, Yana.
I was just gonna agree with everything Dolores said, and that's really gonna hurt them come conference tournament time too, just because those games are like every day. And so when you're putting pressure on your freshman like that, where this is like probably her first season playing a 20 plus type game, uh versus more physical, quicker players, and then you go in a conference play and you're playing back to back to back. And it's a lot. Like that is a lot when you're like everything for your team.
Hmm. And so, speaking of the WBBs, Miss Good Ayoka, like, what does her as a pro player look like? Do you think that she makes that step in the next level? The footwork is there. Obviously, she's tough. She can bang down low. She has the height, and as some people say, you can't teach 6'5" plus. So what does she look like as a pro?
I think she looks good. If I was her, I would graduate, do a grad transfer a year somewhere else. Um, it could be South Carolina. I'm just saying. If you listen, sis, grad transfer to South Carolina. Okay. I think it'll be perfect for you, girl. I think you could do it, girl. I think she needs to do that just to develop a little more. Because I think she's ready. I think she could stand to be a little more. Try to guard a little better, a little quicker on the feet. See if she can develop in that category some, and I think she'll be a great pro.
Wait, hold on. You said great.
Does she have that? Does she?
I
Because
think
I
she
don't know, because she did have to take a year because of that injury. So
because of the injury. So
to
she's
yeah,
2019.
to your while Brandon's figuring it out. To your point, though, I do think if and I hate using South Carolina because everybody, bias, but I do think having a summer with somebody like Molly just to get like shape up a little bit, slim down, add a little bit more strength. I like that would just really set her over the edge in the W because while the game is moving to positionless, there was a market for Bree Jones. And players like that, and I think Ayoka falls into that. It's highly efficient, highly skilled, and some of these slim back bigs can't do nothing with it. And as much as we love Candace, let's not forget when Bree Jones cooked every inch of her life in the WNBA semifinals. So yeah, I think that there is a market for players like Ayoka as long as they are willing to get into WNBA shape, and I think that she has the work ethic to do it. So I think she could. I would, if I'm a team like Atlanta, Indiana, if Seattle doesn't do a lot of work in the offseason in the post, I want a player like her playing beside some of my more athletic bigs. Because imagine Ezzy and Ayoka.
Well, she might be ready to go. So she came into Kansas State in 2018. So she was the class with Henny in them. She missed that. That was her
Oh, yeah, it's
freshman
time for
season.
baby to go.
Yeah. So she would have the eligibility, red shirt, and of course COVID. So she's missed 2 years because of an ACL injury already. So yeah, she's done. I mean, she's probably one to just going to getting another check.
I definitely think there's a place for her in the W. I think, with teams that have dealt with struggling versus the McCowans and the Bree Jones, a player like her could help you. Like obviously, I do think she does need to get a little bit quicker. But I think she'll be a solid pro.
I wanted to go to Minnesota.
Mm.
Oh, you
I'm all
cooked.
for
You
big
cooking with
going
that.
to Cheryl Reeves.
Yeah, you
I
cooking
think
with that. You cooking with that.
Fisa, then the Fisa could do a little more shooting. Don't have to be so tough under the basket. He could bring a little dork off the
So you
bench.
would give Lee and
I
Dorka
And,
and Jeff Shepard.
and they play slow enough for her.
Yeah.
Like, she
That,
doesn't have to
Yeah.
worry about
mm,
them taking those 17, 18 fast ass 2 seconds in the shot
Not you
clock
call them the
possessions.
Spurs of the WNBA.
They are.
with Minnie.
Okay. Okay. Well, Kansas and Baylor. Kansas. Oh Jesus. Low. In the words of Dolores, put the doll away. I know we already touched on them a little bit earlier, but Baylor didn't have the best of weeks versus Kansas and then versus Iowa State. But what do you think that they need going forward?
A big.
Okay.
That is
And
all.
what else? That's it.
To rely on different people. So different players. That is all. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Reason. It's the reason.
That's the answer. I don't like shit. Get in the portal. Get out in the shit in the streets. They got bigs down there. What Craig be talking about? They be carrying bales of hay down there.
The Mike and drills with Megan, Miss Pancake Mama. Well, I do want to give a shout out to Kansas. It's is it Tiana or Tiana?
Diana.
Tiana Jackson, big game, 27 points, 19 rebounds. You're not seeing that too often. So shouts out to her down there in good old Big 12 country. Any other games that you all were intrigued by during the week?
Hmm.
That old Miss Mississippi State one went down to the wire.
Tennessee.
Vanderbilt got beat.
Yep. Then Tennessee and A&M.
Oh yeah, interesting because we had literally been talking about how TAMU was just kind of like what y'all doing, what y'all doing, what y'all doing. And then they beat Tennessee, and it's just like, what's going on? And Janiyah, my daughter, ain't been in the gym all summer, baby. Can't be. Bless her heart.
What you say? Stay home. don't don't go over.
Oh yes, I let if USA basketball coming, if your national teams come calling, run, run to the nearest trainer. Stop doing
Who has looked the best that has played on any of those national teams this summer? To be honest,
Rakia.
it. That's it.
Rakia and Chloe and even
Chloe did look good on U19.
yeah.
Yeah, Hannah Hidalgo looked great on her team as well.
But Chloe been in the gym before even going to the U19 stuff. Like she was working out hard because she wanted to make the team. So
Are y'all helping Kelly Harper update her LinkedIn?
Call me
Um,
Kelly. I just started using LinkedIn. I know the ins and outs now.
y'all
That's how me.
don't talk about that lady because that little page gonna be up in my face trying to be funny.
I mean, what is she? Is she looking for a desk job? Maybe
She could be an analyst right beside Andrea and Carolyn.
Well,
she can go be an analyst with Holly.
she can
Ain't
join us.
is Holly still doing? Is Holly Warlick still doing analyst gigs?
Never mind.
Wait, you got to work up the ESPN. She could be on Flow Sports.
Lord said she could work with us, but y'all
She
just said
she can work with us.
no. Sorry.
This mother-
Man, good luck to Tennessee, man. I
Why you
listen.
was that snickering like that?
they gonna stick on ESPN Plus games. It broke down. No, they gonna send it to Pac-12 and they about to cancel.
To the
she bet
Pac-12 network next year.
she better
Right?
go
Don't
They
act
only
even
got two
exist.
teams.
she better go ask Talia to sit beside her in the Big Ten.
Oh, God. Piss me in, Reverend Pastor, please. Oh gosh. That ain't your daddy. That's my daddy. Sorry. Okay, so shout out to the volunteers.
Something
What?
is wrong with you, dog.
I don't even know what a volunteer is. Sorry, y'all got me crying. Okay. Um. Good
Something's
old.
wrong with you, bro.
Ooh,
I'm
ooh, bless
crying.
you,
That's how
Jesus.
Kelly coach, like a volunteer.
My heart, my beat.
Good
I'm so
old-
log off, Shay. Log off.
Not even a
I
grad
say that with
assistant, Shay.
love.
A
Tennessee
violence.
fans, y'all know I love y'all. Y'all deserve better.
Okay. All right. So as we wrap that up, shouts out to all of those great games this week. We're looking forward to more exciting ones this week. Oh wait, we didn't talk about Tara and them. And then Tara, they who was one of y'all said the Bob didn't get her record.
who
She
said
didn't.
that? Said that.
I forgot who said it, but somebody
B
mentioned.
probably said it, and he probably saying somebody else did.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I promise it wasn't me. But she has another chance this weekend against both the Oregon schools and their home. So hopefully her home crowd they'll give her that positive juju to win those games. And she will tie Coach K with one win, and then she will pass the record with both of the wins. So that'll be exciting. Maybe Kelly, I don't know if Kelly and her got beef. Maybe he'll pull up his bootstraps and really do some good coaching this weekend. That's a lot of games when you think about it. But we're gonna go on to she said what she said, but did she though? Mm. Dolores, you got some music for this?
One moment. Go ahead and start because it's gonna take a minute.
Okay, so there were. I think the we'll start with the one that's the most current, and everybody probably saw the video of Luigi going around in regards to the comments that he made about St. John's and discussing the coaching, and then basically how I'm paraphrasing how students want so much, but they don't want to give you anything, and then he proceeded to didn't necessarily name a player, but he alluded to a player. But there were some thoughts that maybe he mentioned the wrong school and was talking about the wrong player, and he didn't want to throw his good old friend down in the bayou under the bus. Maybe I'm not sure. But what you all thought about his comments when he throughout that video?
Uh,
Let me go low because
I,
yeah.
I think I think what he was saying was fine up in because we've had similar discussions about NIL and how the kids, it changes things. Your motivation is a little different. It changed from maybe intrinsic motivation to extrinsic, a lot of stuff, right? I think
Mm.
where he fucked up. I'm sorry. I think where he messed up is when he started naming people and naming names. Don't do that.
Hmm.
You could have made your point without even going there, and then I really think and this is in the most respectful way. I think his ass is old and he slipped up because him saying Lauren Park Lane or even alluding to Lauren Park Lane, doesn't make any sense. Lauren Park Lane did her 4 years, and she was a graduate transfer. And once again, no shade, but what kind of money are you getting to go to Mississippi State right now? You know what I mean? Like, I don't. I think he so it just seems wrong. First of all, I shouldn't have mentioned him no way, but I think the shot landed at the wrong player because that just doesn't make sense. Because if anybody, I feel like it had to be Anissa he was referring to, but either way, that's still not his business. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, say what you got to say without calling out kids. You know what I mean? Everybody got different reasons for going somewhere, whether we agree or not, because I don't always agree, but you can't tell no child where to go, especially when it's money involved. Even if it is money involved, you don't know what people got going on in their lives. You don't know how people money change people's lives. That's not your business. So say what you were saying, because yeah, he had very good points, but don't drag nobody kids into a mind your business. And then you also have to acknowledge you have a privilege in the fact that you are at a Yukon. You do quote unquote brag a little different. The way that you say things is a little different. You have built a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you don't have problems that everybody else has. So don't don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Talk, say what you gotta say and leave the other shit out of it. He
What
dragged.
what I want to point to in the quote is something that a lot of people skipped over,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if he misspoke or just didn't get his words right. But when you mention, well, my best players are happy, well, what does that mean for the players that don't play? Because we all know Geno and UConn to be a program that struggles with using their depth and struggles with, you know, the players that are top recruits. But when those top recruits get into town, they end up riding the bench for 4 years. Now, no, he may not lose a lot of them to transfer, so that may mean they're happy. But when you make a comment like that, that definitely leaves a lot of room for things to be discussed. And I just think it's just like it's just stupid to say and in bad faith because it adds to what we already think is an issue at at that program, which is favoritism. Like the way that he coaches Paige and Diana and his generational players seems to be very different than the way he coaches some of these new players. And personally, I believe that's one of the reasons why he hasn't been able to win lately is because now you don't go like who are you don't have a Juju on your team. Juju is a player that is not going to need the same type of coaching as a Dorka Uhas or a Ashlyn Shade or a Cadence Samuel. Those players are players that's going to take some development. And when I'm developing them, I can't develop them the same way I develop Paige. I got to, what's what we call in teaching low differentiated instruction.
Period.
Gino has not. Gino has not shown that he can necessarily differentiate instruction for the type of players that he's bringing in now. Because when I don't bring in five top recruits in their class, meaning the number one, then I can't coach them all the same. Now I've got to know how to work with Paige, but I've also got to know how to work with what's the little girl that don't get no minutes that was the top 10 big in her class.
Mar-
Batuli Kamara.
No.
Mari. Mm,
Yes, DeBerry. Like
yeah.
I've still got to be able to maximize the talent of a DeBerry and of Paige. But if I'm only coaching towards my best players because my best players are happy, then I'm not going to get the most out of my roster. Period. So I agree with Lowe's point about so a lot of the stuff he said wasn't necessarily wrong, but I don't care how many years he been in. I don't care how many championships he won. Once you try to be shady about a black woman and a black player, when we already know the way this country works and the way financial generational wealth works in this country, if a black player chooses to leave your program for a bag anywhere, I don't care if the bag is $15. If you didn't have the $15 to give it to him, baby, slavery says I owe me that $15. Don't play in my face. So unless he's trying to come up off that money sitting up in that cellar, he can shut the hell up about them kids and their money.
No, like that to both of y'all's point, and the NIL conversation has gotten so off the rails that it's really pissed me off. Who the hell are any of y'all, not y'all on the stage, any of y'all in the world to criticize black kids for taking some fucking money? Like, what economy, what world do y'all exist in where you can have the privilege of saying, "Oh, I don't need that $500,000, I don't need that $100,000." That's life changing money. I know that the gentrification of basketball has made it seem like all of these people are middle and upper class and they all got money and they can do all of this great. No, everybody ain't got it like that. These people is taking money. They can feed their families, get their mama a car, get who the hell are you to sit up there? You making $3 million talking about, well, these kids, how am I supposed to control these kids if they only care about money? Who gives a shit? If Lauren Park wanted to go and get money, clearly she didn't. But if she wanted to, that ain't your fucking business. If Morrow was who you was talking about, she left to get money. Also, not your fucking business. Who cares? And if y'all got it like that, where money is just this, not this object, break a check off, because it wasn't no damn complaining when y'all was making millions and the players wasn't making shit. I don't remember none of these daggone speeches and all of this. Well, who made this? Y'all wasn't doing all that shit when the players wasn't making nothing. Y'all just want control, and you are struggling because you can't hold over people's head. Oh, well, if you transfer, you got to sit, or you're not going to get taken care of because the boosters over there ain't got no money. That's y'all's fucking problem. So just say what your issue is out loud and stop beating around the bush.
Boop.
Well, on to another beautiful moment. And what she said was, I'm going to play this beautiful audio clip here. Give me one moment. Turn this all the way up.
It was personal for me. Coach Moki, I played for her my freshman year. Things didn't go well. I don't want to get too much into that, but um, I've been waiting for this moment, and it came, and so I'm embracing it, and I'm proud of myself, honestly. So I've came a long way. What does it mean?
Okay. And that was from Evangelist Honestly Scott-Grayson, who basically said, shit popped off down there in Baylor. I got a natty, but I wanted to come to greener pastures, and I did. I'm thriving here. We don't rock. I got the dub. I've been working for this moment. On to the next. What do you all feel about her comments?
I think it was as respectful as it could be, but letting people know she didn't do too much. She spoke. I mean, shit. What can you say?
I like the honesty. But no, but seriously though, like some people might like, just throw that question to the side and be like, "Oh, it was nothing. It's no big deal or whatever." But her being like, "Nah, I've been waiting on this. Like I wanted to win this game. I really like," and you could tell by her play on the court, like she was motivated. So I appreciate it. The transparency.
And she was.
It's
She did
it's
what it was.
it's so interesting to me because I think part of the allure of LSU last year was they really were a team that kind of was like F the rules. Like, fuck how you think we're supposed to behave during the game. Screw all that respectability. We gonna laugh in your face. We gonna taunt you, and we gonna show our ass. And I feel like this year we're seeing other teams take that and be like, okay, I'm gonna one up you. And I feel like in every single matchup we've seen LSU lose, it's only been 2 games, but even in some other matchups, they've come up against teams that was like, y'all got us last year with the way y'all kind of showed out, but baby, we can do the same thing over here. And I really do feel like that's what the team kind of did. And they rallied around honesty and said, girl, we're not gonna let you fold. If you got a vendetta, we about to ride with you 10 toes down until we take them down. And I feel like if more teams attacked LSU with their own fire. Like the same way, Angel gets pumped up by the crowd and they kind of ride the momentum of the show to what Coach Yo was talking about. I honestly do think more teams could shock LSU with that type of aggression. Now, I don't mean they will win because LSU is still really good, but I do think if more teams approach them with that same like, okay, y'all gonna talk y'all shit, watch me talk mine back, we might see some really fun things come conference play.
Were there any? I'm about to dig into my low bag. Were there any other superfluous comments made this week?
Child.
Not you using. Come on. There was. Y'all want to go there, or we gonna
Go
Yeah.
hit?
ahead.
Oh,
Okay, I'll
We
read
got
it.
time.
I'll read it. So back on another week of she said what she said. We got Coach Yo.
Two for
Look at
two.
2 for 2. Look at other conferences' bottom teams. Are they still at the bottom? Are they beating question mark? Are they beating any of the top or even coming close? In the SEC, you don't know who will win any night. It shows the strength of our conference. Our net numbers are strong. The SEC is legit. Thoughts?
well, I agree. I do think SEC is really strong. I'm not. I don't. how can I say this? Do I think that SEC is as good as it was in years past? No. But I do think the style of play in the SEC is still that girl. It's still a, if you're not here, this a hard style of play to adjust to. So I feel like that always gives the SEC an edge. You know what I'm saying? So do I necessarily think the teams are as good as they have been in past years? No. But I do think that style of play still has a bit of edge. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah, no, I do. Like the SEC, no matter what the talent level is, it's dog on dog.
Yeah.
And like if you're, I think you would have more luck leaving, transferring from an SEC school and going to any other conference than transferring into the SEC, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
The girls have not done their big one transferring in.
I I guess for me it's two conversations. Like this is one of the do I agree that the SEC is going to be the SEC regardless? Yes. But I think so many of the other factors influence whether that is legit. Like this year, I don't think any teams in the country, to be honest, look like legitimate title teams. Like I can even point to last year. By February, we knew these teams would be in the Final Four. Now they didn't all go there, but we knew the teams that looked like, based on their resume, based on their way that they played and their wins, that they were Final Four teams. This year, I think it's up in the air, and I think that hasn't benefited the SEC because the good teams are the two good teams. Everyone else is beatable on any given night by each other and by any other conference. Like I don't think it's just subject to the SEC because if Ole Miss goes out and plays bad, we see them lose like they lost to Louisville. If Mississippi State goes out and plays bad, we see them lose to, I think they lost to Georgia and Southern. Like each of these teams in conference, they look different and scarier because the way the games are called, the level of physicality, defense is allowed, shit
Yeah.
talking is allowed, it's not sensitive. It's
Mhm.
like I'm gonna compare it to the hood. Like the SEC is like you go to your community black neighborhood and we got different rules over here. But once we take that shit to downtown, the police gonna be at our door knocking on the window saying, "Don't do all that shit over there." That's what it feels like. Like
Right.
if nationally there was somewhat of a standard for how the games were called, I could agree. But I know come tournament time, we're going to see a tough SEC team lose because the game was not called how they used to it being called. And that's why non conference scheduling is so important.
But I think even in that, like the rest of the rest, right? But because we know how the rest is, they don't like the physical shit, right? But I still think all in all, even if the refs make calling different, it's still a different edge that the SEC has. Now, will they allow them to play with that edge? I don't know, but I still feel like all in all, the SEC does have a different edge than any other conference. That's what I mean.
I'm just gonna say scheduling matters. If y'all feel that way, this is in reference to the SEC coaches. Put up or shut up.
Oh,
Go schedule better in the non-conference, so we can see these teams play other conferences and dominate. Like if I see a team like Kentucky go on the road and beat top half team from the ACC, then I'm like, all right, lower half SEC, but you did your big one on the road versus an ACC team or a Pac-12 team or a Big Ten team. But when you scheduling all these weak teams in a non-conference, what am I supposed to compare it to? I don't have nothing to compare it to. So if y'all really feel like the SEC is that it conference, go schedule like the it conference.
all right. Y'all ready for the next one?
Yep.
All right. Another one from Coach Yo. It says, instead of saying LSU is awful, why not give Auburn credit? They're a tough one. They're a tough out and especially hard to play at their place. People don't want to admit it, but our league is good. We can't control the rankings, but top to bottom, the SEC is the best it's been in a while. I don't think it's the best it's been in a while.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. Now I don't agree. I just said that. I also didn't see anybody call LSU awful. And if it was an Iowa fan, that doesn't count. Um, I don't think anybody looked at that game and said LSU was awful. I think they said LSU need to make some changes, but maybe that's just what I saw. Did y'all see anybody say LSU was terrible or awful?
I don't think their
No.
opinions mattered enough for me to believe that what they said was true.
Yeah, I've seen people talk about the last play, but that's about it. Like, I definitely didn't walk away from that game thinking LSU was awful.
Yeah,
Like, that's the game they needed to probably lose so they could turn the page and start playing better or getting more from their bench or figuring out what the hell to do with Haley Van Lith. Like,
yeah.
Haley said she gonna show y'all in the tournament. Just watch.
Oh, okay. I just that baby just
It's, I mean, let's look at historically though. This is Kim's formula: taking a traditional two guard, getting 1 year with them, and trying to go win a tournament.
That
that's facts.
I
that's true.
mean,
I
I
mean, Chloe, not Chloe.
Chloe
Yeah,
Jackson,
oh
No,
Chloe,
yeah,
Chloe's
Chloe
Chloe,
one of them.
Jackson.
Chloe Jackson,
Taya.
Taya.
Yeah.
Last year, Jasmine,
Alexis Morris.
Alexis Morris, even though she was already there, but
Yeah, I mean, she Kim knows how to do it because Kim is a system coach. Like the same way we talk about Vic Schaefer, his dribble drive and he put players into the system. Kim is very similar in that like she has a specific type of player she recruits. Everybody that plays those positions play a certain style of play and she just needs somebody to manage the game, not necessarily get 15 assists per game, but she also wants a point guard that can go win the game. And I think that's what she thought she was getting with HBL. But in the words of the Angel Reese, she ain't cut like that. Um, so
But
yeah.
I think I think this is where I'm like I go back to what I said. Once again, do I like Kim as a woman? No. But as a coach, I've always felt like Kim gets it done. Like I will respect Kim as a coach. I feel like you're silly if you don't. But to me, because we've been saying this since she picked up Haley Van Lith, like Haley is not a point guard. She's not that. And it shocks me because as good of a coach that I think Kim Mulkey is, how didn't you know that? You know what I mean? Like I
But
don't
isn't that part of the show though? Like I think this all changes once Angel leaves. But currently the aesthetic of
okay.
LSU is to do exactly what they did with their roster this year.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Vibes.
Right, we right. My bad.
Yeah, like yeah, I feel like if they had not won the title last year, I don't think this move is made because she looks at the roster more critically and says this is actually what we need.
Okay.
But when you're going for the show, you
Okay.
get the loudest name and you got the most money to give
So
them.
it's just an error right now. It's it's
Yeah,
it's Kim trying to
self-preservation.
okay. Because I'm,
Yes.
I'm like even some of the stuff that Kim let fly, I'm like, now I've been watching Kim Mulkey coach for a long time, and I ain't never seen Kim let half this stuff fly.
Yeah. It's until once that crop leaves, she gonna go back to where taking the reins and running it the way Kim Mulkey runs her program.
well, that's all from this week's. She said what she said. We're pretty sure that the Twitter fingers will be active again this week. And during these games or during their timeouts or while they're trapped in the snow and all that good stuff. Before we get out of here, we want to see if there's anyone. We see a few hands raised from our good old buddy out there in the. Is that the west or the east?
Not geography.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm a little seasoned. Tom, we're gonna let Lo give her disclaimer right quick. Go ahead, Lo.
Tom, don't come up here showing your ass. Say what you have to say. Don't do the most, okay?
That
Give
feels
me a
like
thumbs up, Tom. I need a thumbs up, Tom.
he gonna behave. He gonna behave.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna let you on now, Tom. Ooh, okay, there we go.
Are you there, Tom?
He
Hello,
connecting. There you go.
hello. Let me
Hey,
preface by saying it's 2024. I'm cool, calm, and collected. Anyway, I just wanted to start the question of who do y'all have as SEC Player of the Year right now?
Oof.
Right now.
mm, mm.
Ooh. Ooh. I don't. Ooh.
Okay, so let's make it easy. If we go from the top four teams,
It got. I
pick,
feel like right now. It got to be Ricky or Angel.
Oh. Fuck it, Breezy.
okay.
That's all I got for you, Tom.
Pow pow.
Okay, put her in there. I think South
Just,
Carolina is so balanced. I don't see it coming
I
from
don't see
some.
them having one. I agree. I don't see them having one. Like,
Yeah, they too balanced, and you know how they get. You know what I mean? Like,
they might have three in the All-SEC
Hmm.
team, though.
I'll
What
go with
about
Angel at the moment.
Yeah, that's my vote. My kid.
I'm voting for Angel.
yeah, it's yeah.
Is this factoring Rakir's absence, or is it,
yeah,
like, ahead of
No,
No, I
just
SEC?
think it's
SEC play.
I think it's
Okay.
with I think I would include I think even non-absence I would vote for her.
Okay.
including Ricky absence to me. She had some games where she missed to kind of, play against teams who weren't necessarily as quote unquote tough as the SEC and play against some, teams get her team some more wins. So to me, it includes the uh, time off. If she played, I think we could be having a different discussion about Tennessee and uh, this. Yeah. So
I do think all of those names are definitely first team SEC though. God damn, Zach hurt.
um
How many
I
people for first team SEC? Is it just 5 or is it 6?
5.
yeah,
It's been six before though.
Ooh.
Sometimes.
I think we're leaving off some statistical players. I don't think we'll only see because I'm gonna be quite honest. I don't. The only South Carolina players that will be first team are Camilla or
Pal,
Papa. So when I look at it that way, you got to take your eyes to Arkansas. Talia Scott, Samara Spencer just dropped like 31, and
Hmm.
they actually are placed pretty well in the SEC right now. You got to look at some of the guards in Vandy, who have them looking pretty solid. Like there are some other players statistically, because like Asia Petty was averaging 20 and 20 up until last night. Um, so
that
yeah.
baby, that made me sad.
Tucker Leonard said, "Not on my watch."
Yeah,
Talia Scott would be an interesting one just because she hasn't really played SEC play yet.
yeah,
I'm
she's
wondering if
hurt.
she's coming back, but depending on how many games she missed, I wonder if they include her or not.
Yeah, this is also one of the first years where I don't feel like there are like,
Runaways.
yeah,
There's not a
I think
standout. Like, no
it is.
one's
like
really
you,
standing out.
Aaliyah, and remember like all those Aaliyah and Ryan years. Like there were South Carolina, there were at least three players from the SEC every year that I was like, they're gonna be on the Naismith team. They're gonna be da 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 da. I, I, I there might not be a first team Naismith or any of those things from the SEC this year.
The other conferences definitely will run away with the national awards. I
Yeah,
think what helps someone like Camilla is her size. So something like that. If like when you look at the other bigs, the Kitleys or whomever out from Pac-12. I mean, obviously there's Elisa Pili, but I do think that Camilla can possibly have a spot there. Or
Kitley?
no, the
First
big.
team?
No, I'm just thinking of bigs in other conferences. But never
Okay.
mind. That's probably going to go to Angel
Okay.
still as a big. So yeah.
Okay. Had to clear that up.
All right, we got other two people waiting. Reba,
Mhm.
oh, y'all know how to act. I don't got to give y'all no speech. I just got to get at the Tom because, honey, he runs out.
And does.
All right, what's up, Reba?
Hey y'all. I have a question about well, probably like a not hot take, but Janiyah Barker. Do you think it's a Mount Verdi Academy thing? Because no one from her graduating class from Mount Verde from the Mount Verde Academy is doing anything except for Vivian. And I think, where's Vivian? She's at USC. And all those girls ride the bench or they're lackluster.
Who was their squad? I don't
I
really
thought
remember.
she just signed. She already there? I thought she. Okay, maybe. I don't know. Who was the girl that just signed to USC then? That wasn't her.
That may have been her.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because somebody just signed. I think Janaya, she had a good freshman year. I don't know what
Well,
happened.
she got injured and she just never really had enough games to actually give you a nice sample size of if she's playing well or not. But this year she's just fallen off. And then they had another decently high recruit that went to Texas.
Oh yeah, she didn't even play.
Yeah,
Jordan.
she's not playing. I think she got injured.
Jordana Codio? Yeah, she's been
Yeah,
injured.
she got injured. But when she was healthy, he never put her out there either.
Ooh, now I something to pay attention to. I never put two and two together.
And then their coach at the time left. She's at Jacksonville right
Jacksonville.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And we got Ja from there.
yeah, so Ja's working her way into the what she's trying to do. I don't know. I just think she's on South Carolina and it's just gonna be tough to hit the floor there. But it could be a Mount Verde Academy thing.
Interesting. I never put two and two together. We got to do
But
some.
don't most of the players that go there transfer in there from elsewhere?
Yeah, I think they usually come from another high school. I think they rarely do all 4 years there because I think what's her name, Jelani? She transferred in from somewhere else. And then a couple other people they transfer in from somewhere else. Like I don't know, maybe it's because they don't do all 4 years there, and when they get to college, it's completely different and they can't adjust. Because I think a lot of Janaya's growing pains right now, and she's not used to, having help.
Interesting. Now I got to research it and think about it. Keep that.
Sorry now, because I done pulled up their roster from that year.
Who you see on there?
That was Jania's teammate.
Yeah, actually
Yeah.
playing.
Somebody at Illinois,
Well,
ain't it?
Gracie Hall. I don't know. Corey
Who that?
Allen.
Corey Allen.
Vip.
That's the one in Illinois, right?
She's a big. She was a big,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken.
Now Corey Allen's Miracle with a J.
She had Miss State.
Fatima, Letty. Vivian is that is the one that just signed with USC.
Okay. The
I
Miracle.
mean, I think it's like like those programs kind of exist to be like the bridge between being a high school kid and being a college kid, and I think some of them are burnt out.
Possibly.
I did not know Ja went to that school. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they play a lot of basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think that it might be a little too much.
They be in
Yeah,
three,
because it's like
they
a
be in
prep
three
school,
or
ain't it?
four states in 1 week
Yeah, that's a
sometimes.
good point.
They have a game in LA, then fly to Phoenix, back to Vegas, then go all the way over to Connecticut. So they do play a lot of
And
basketball.
true question though, how much developing does a coach do at a program like that
Exactly.
if the players are already coming into them as
Exactly.
the best in their state? They just use the school as a
Yeah.
platform to be seen.
And I feel like they just focus. Like it's the same question you have with some colleges. Like, are you playing them to win, or are you also developing them? And I feel like they're not getting the development; they're just playing to win.
Speaking of development,
Not Demo.
I got a couple of narratives to spread. Have we talked about freshmen yet in here?
Not
No,
specifically
Go ahead.
today.
come on
Oh,
up.
for sure. So the easy ones are Juju and Miss Hidalgo, but I'm here to talk about one young lady and one young lady only, and that is Addie Crooks. That is the center at Iowa State.
Oh
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you guys don't know about her, you guys need to know
Oh,
about
we
her. That
know.
is
Yeah.
been
yes, she is her.
with her for weeks. That's the WBB.
That she say averaging a cool 17 a game. I want to say 8 or 9 rebounds a game on like 60, 50, 90 or something crazy like that. Like she don't miss. But every time I watch her play, she don't miss shots. She's her.
That's the Lord's girl.
Oh, for sure. So we all on the same page then. I'm not even spreading no narratives.
No.
I'm
thought you was
preaching
gonna talk.
gospel.
I thought
I
you was
thought you was
about to
gonna give us
talk shit
something
about some
juicy.
I
freshmen
had my pen
today.
Oh.
against them.
I think
I'm in here preaching gospel.
their freshman class is better than UConn's right now, and they're like the two best freshman class in like my opinion. Like UConn got like three of them that actually contributes to the team, and
Hmm.
like four of them on Iowa State. So like those,
I was just gonna say, I think Iowa State got
yeah,
5 or maybe 4. Yeah,
and I think
like,
two or three of them are starters already.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Miss Crooks is only getting more and more minutes every game.
Then they have that guard
Yeah.
too. I forgot her name. What is it? Addie or yeah,
Addie.
Addie.
That's my other niece, Addie
Ooh,
motherfucking Brown, the
yep,
sniper.
yep. She's certified. She is indeed certified from out there. You
It's
get
it's
ready to get
so
a hand up.
okay. This is my question for the group: are we seeing a changing of the guard collegiately? I don't know why this season feels like the start of like last season's Final Four was like the boom, like watch women's sports. This season is like this is the freshman class of the beginning of
The
women's
hot,
sports being
the
the
highlight.
hottest shit ever.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes,
Feels like
yes.
It's
Showtime.
giving ISO ball. It's giving this. Yeah.
And
It's giving the '80s NBA
because
like
I'm a
Yeah, that's
drag
what
Showtime.
I,
it,
that's what I meant. I
Everybody.
said Showtime. That's what I meant. It feels like that all over again.
I'm a drag it, but it feels to me like I feel like in 20 years we're gonna look back on this as being just as impactful as the '96 Olympic team in terms of taking women's sports not only from getting on the same level, like having a professional league, but being respected nationally as them some dogs. Like these freshmen could
I
probably cook
yeah.
some some WNBA. I'm dragging.
I gotta agree because it's not just the freshmen, right? Like we got the Caitlin Clarks and the Paige Beckers who are seniors, and then all the way down, like there's no drop off. Like the freshmen are just as good as the sophomores, who are just as good as the transfers, who are just as good as the juniors, who are just as good as the seniors.
It's
Like
everyone.
everybody can get it any given night, and that's what we've been seeing this season.
And it's the multiple conferences, the multiple teams. It's it's a dog on every team,
I
and
think
Hmm.
we're getting more attention than the MNCAA. I'll tell you that.
I think also that now it's just like everyone who like was on Instagram as a 15-year-old is now a 19-year-old, and the like Instagram age of college hoops has now like come to fruition. I guess I could say like that's why everyone I feel like has such a deep bag. Like they have so many skills and moves and yeah, maybe also had something to do with COVID, like that they were able to just work more on their own and some people really took advantage of it and some maybe didn't. But I think that just the advent of like the social media age of basketball is just really here. And now, because of that, I think there's way more parity and also just like emphasis on individual skill.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think there's two conversations in that. I feel like us at the committee really harp on sometimes the negatives of this new movement of basketball, of like the positionless, get in a gym with a trainer, work on cone drills for 15 hours. But I do think to your point, like the fact that these players are coming into college as celebrities and then not laying an egg, but like actually being the best is really helping drive the entertainment value, because
Yes,
it
100%.
it does wonders for the game when you see Ashlyn dunk in a McDonald's All American dunk contest, and then she actually go do it in a game. it does wonders for the game when we not only see Malaysia cook people at Keenan High School, but she still can get all those moves off at the collegiate level. It does wonders for the game when Juju Watkins puts Chris Brown's weird self on the front row of a basketball game and drops 30 plus and wins a ranked matchup. Like, so they're not just bringing the eyes to the game, they're entertaining the people that come to watch. And I think the more we can stress the emphasis on like actually giving them something entertaining to watch, which is why we need to make a defensive 3-second rule, then we will continue to see the women's game rival the men's game for ratings. Because if you put it out there, people want to watch it. And honestly, women do it better most of the time.
We're creeping up on them. I saw a tweet today that a few of the women's games are getting more ratings than the Duke and NC North Carolina game. So we're creeping up on them. Duke and North Carolina, like those are pretty big teams. So the ratings are creeping up with them. So I think it's less than 5 years away, maybe 2.
And just like on that point, Dolores, I know that I'm not as big of a Juju Watkins fan as everyone on the stage, but just the fact that she is like, she gets Lil Wayne and Chris Brown, which is like ridiculous to come to USC women's basketball and all these other former NBA players and celebrities, and like she is like actually probably solidly famous as just like an independent being.
She real famous. Not that fake shit.
I also think when we talk about Juju, I think the Caitlins and Paiges, they have been able to pull like basketball players, like black men, da da da. But I think Juju, as a black woman, she has a different lock on the culture aspect.
Yeah.
She
Mm-hmm.
got, like you said, Chris Brown weirdo, and those guys, like she got men that we like. I
And
can't
just the fact that she
say the word I
posted that
want
on
to
her
say.
page. Ugh.
Y'all know the word I want to say,
Oh,
but I can't
sweetie.
say it.
Did she
I
bring the
mean,
hoax out?
No,
what
it's
would
a
you
specific
would
word
you?
I can't
Oh,
say.
go ahead, Lo.
It's a specific word I want to say, but I can't say it on here no more. But she bring the culture, the
The
nation,
black
The
socks.
naysayers.
the
She bring the
naysayers.
The
naysayers.
naysayers out.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
bring the naysayers.
Juju's like
Not
it's
to say host.
crazy because I went to her very first USC game, and it was kids like from the crib that it was like 60, 70 kids that just wanted to take a picture with her. Like what she has done for USC is just like you can't articulate what she's done for that program in like half a year. I
Yeah.
mean, like Sweetie is there, like she's high as a kite, but she's there courtside. Like Candace has been to more USC games than I've ever seen in my life. Like she be there like she got season tickets.
she might.
It's
She be there like she an alum.
She beat it more than
Okay,
Tennessee.
I was gonna
she
say
do.
more than Tennessee games at this point.
Yeah, she do,
Don't
but
say
it's
that because
just
that woman gonna be in my DMs talking crazy. But
oh
keep on
Lord.
listening.
But
I
this is
mean,
the
facts
first
are
year
facts.
I can remember where the women's college players are more household names than men.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah. I feel
it's
like way more
outright like
people.
everybody you see men are photoshopping Caitlyn in Detroit Piston uniforms.
I feel like way more
Hey, not
people
too
know
much.
who Juju is than like Zach Edey.
Yeah, because I don't know who that is.
He's
Yeah,
like
I,
I was
the
I
gonna say
dead
I
ass
don't know
prime
who
couldn't
that
name.
is.
I
Canadian
couldn't
on
name the
Purdue,
top
Lo.
5 prospects right
Jamal
now. Couldn't do
Bowden?
it. Gun to my
No.
head, couldn't do it.
but
Jason Kelly is dating
Oh yeah,
but
RJ
RJ Davis.
Davis.
but
Yeah.
but big ups to us. No shade, no tea. I gotta bring this thing full circle. But if not for the type of work that we do, this would not be possible. Like, because at the end of the day, like, we are now at a place where we are challenging the very same men who for the last 5+ years said women's sports isn't entertainment, go cook in the kitchen, by consistently hosting spaces, by consistently challenging authority, by telling people pay them more, they deserve more. We now see a crop of players that are worthy of all of that and more, and whole culture, and are icons for their age group. Like, all these things are so big for the sport. if not for your Asia Wilsons, if not for your Candace Parkers, if not for your Skylar Diggins, these black women laid the stage and the foundation for young black women to be who Juju is. Like, you don't get Juju without Candace. You don't get Juju without Skylar. You don't get Malaysia without Skylar. You don't, like all these really great black players. And I'm not even going to, include Caitlin and those players in this conversation because that's who they're already going to market. Like, Caitlyn was going to get Caitlyn treatment from jump. Like, that was already preordained. Your Jujus, your Malaysias, your Hannah Hill Doggos, these are players that are able to shine because black people said these black women can hoop. Period. And
Well,
so I have to give that a big up to people like us and people in the women's basketball space that continue to push the conversation forward and challenge notions of race in this space and the validity of black women holding the space.
you
And on
brought up.
that note, oh,
I have a question real quick. It's a hypothetical, but if Paige stayed healthy her entire career, do you think Caitlyn would still be Caitlyn?
I think it could still be
Yes.
her as a player, but will
Not the
the
media.
hype be
About the
there?
I
State Farm commercials, the Cheerios, and all that other
I
stuff.
I think that there's enough space, generally speaking, for two white people to be successful in the
Wasn't
ESPN
their
space.
freshman year?
So yeah, but I mean, there wasn't as much success, right? Like hypothetically, if UConn was to play against Iowa in the Final Four, that would be one of the most hyped matchups of the century, right? You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah, right
you get
now.
the you get the point guard matchup, right?
Well, it
And
was
you could
in
be and you could
2019,
build it
wasn't
up.
it?
You could build it up, right? You could say all 4 years, like, okay, well, Caitlin hasn't gotten over this hump, but like, let's say she wins that matchup, right? Now it's a David versus Goliath type of thing. Now you got Sue Bird versus Diana Taurasi instead of both of them playing on the same team for that legacy. You know what I'm saying? So
Once that happens
I
with
think that
Paige
hype is
Statement,
still. I think you can still make it work hype wise, but that's a hypothetical. So we would have to see it.
We need to y'all table that because we got to come back to that. Thank whoever asked that. Reba, you asked that.
yes.
Let's give us a week to do some like planning because I really want to go into detail with that because I think Paige's and Caitlin's freshman year set up all of what you just asked
Hmm.
because their game that they played against each other in COVID was the attempt to pick a white savior. Now Paige won that game,
That's what he
but
said. Who won that?
she could not continue the position, which opened up the space for Caitlin. But I do think there's room to kind of discuss both points of views. But let's give it like the time that it deserves, and table it for next week. So make sure y'all do y'all homework because we're gonna bring y'all back to talk about it.
And on that note, we appreciate all of you for tuning in today. We thank you for your comments. We thank you for participating in the conversation. And go and have you a nice drink and enjoy your evenings.
It's bedtime. You talking about drink? Good night.
It's 7:48 for me. Bye.
Oh
It's
yeah.
2 p.m. here. I'm living my best life. Good night.
Oh brother. Good night.
It's almost 10. Good night.